I still have to make it live on YouTube.
Okay.
Go live. You are live. It tells me on my screen here. So I just think that works. And I see Carrie O'Connell there. Hello, Carrie. I haven't heard from you in a while. I hope you are doing well. I just spoke with your mom yesterday. Okay, this what a weird way to start. It's always the same.
You know what? We're just how it is. You know what I mean?
At least I got it all working in at once instead of fiddling around with everything. And I was like, do I remember this? Because it's about a month ago. So yes, this is Toni Weel. I am you could say a Dr. Morse regenerative detox specialist. I'm also certified as an iridologist, but I always say I would like to learn more before I go full force with that. And I'm an herbalist in training. I'm certified, essential oils coach and whatnot. That is about me. Now, Sarah, you can introduce yourself.
A little bit about everything, huh? Yep. Just same old, same old. I'm just on this journey to learn how to become, live more virtuously every day, and how we can find our way back to the truth of becoming the unicorns that we are. And I'm 100% interested in everything that Toni and Dr. Morse talk about. I would love to take those courses here soon and have been looking into them. So I'm just along this journey to help out in any way I can. My mom, Barb, and I, we have the podcast and the blog. She is more kind of in the background, but definitely here along the journey with us.
Yeah, and helping you do, because you have already helped me with so many things that otherwise I don't think I've done it yet, like this help Q&A. So I'm very, very grateful for your assistance with this.
Well, thank you.
We had, now I have to talk about the last month, why we weren't here. I think the first time was that I did not have any internet. So no internet, then we cannot do these kind of things. And this shows you how we rely on this whole digital life. And somebody actually alerted me to the digital life, and everything, is related to your connection to the internet, to connect to your new family and very people that became very important to you. But when you don't have internet, you have to take a step back and let it go. Don't get upset about it. I used to do that many years ago. I needed to talk to clients, and then I didn't have internet, and I was like, oh my gosh. Now I'm just like, okay, now it's time to do something else. I mean, it's probably needed. So it's always a good time to reflect and go out in nature. For me, it is my potted fruit plants, and eating my new cherry tomatoes that turning red every day, a few. And I eat them while I'm watering them.
Okay.
And they are
fresh is best.
They're pretty delicious, and they are early. I didn't expect that, but then again, we had some really cold days and some warm days. So my banana plant did suffer a little from the freezing temperatures at night. So I hope it's gonna survive. And then the next week we wanted to do the podcast, and I got sick. I had, we would always call it just a bad cold. It starts with a sore throat, and then it is the sneezing and the runny nose, and after that it's coughing, and then okay, you're fine again. And I found that this time, because I have been on a pretty good diet with some, shall we call it flaws here and there, but still mostly fruit, I was actually amazed. I got over it pretty quick. It was like one and a half day of everything. So all in all, about a week, and then another week to fiddle around, you could say. And then Sarah had a little issue with her throat. So all in all, it's like, well, at least I took my rest, because a big part of healing is also resting. Give into it when you're tired, and when you feel like, oh, I don't want to do anything. Make yourself a cup of hot tea, and just get under the blankets and rest, and let things go, and just focus on yourself. And another thing I did is I stopped eating. I didn't feel like eating, and I thought, well, I can now put it in play and see how that works. I just fast and how I do, and I did amazing. I wasn't hungry. I didn't feel bad. I was just, I felt okay. Of course, I was tired, because you are tired when your body tries to detox. And then, I got over it. I did drink my daily or twice a day the 3-lung tea. And this is something to write down. And I made little bags with 1 ounce 3-lung tea. So I'm going to send that to as many people as I can. And it is just fenugreek seed, and mullein leaf, and what was the other one? A pleurisy root. And I bought them in bulk. So it's really interesting. I've already made quite a few little bags. And let me know if you want one. Send a message to Healthy with Fruit and at gmail.com, and I will send you one out.
What was the last one?
That is pleurisy root.
Okay. We only have mullein leaf in our household right now. And during that time, my mom has always had this like minor kind of low-lying wheeze. And I mean, everybody grew up in a household where people smoked anyway. So it wouldn't be surprising if she did have anything like that going on. But she drank just 1 cup of it. I did not hear her wheeze for 3 days.
That is amazing.
And it was just the mullein leaf. She said that, like, it wasn't her favorite drink, but I mean, if it takes away the wheeze, she'll definitely do it. And then our other friend's mom, she was never tested, but, she maybe not, but she was definitely really sick and having a lot of trouble with the coughing and stuff. So we sent her over like 8 servings of them. And within a couple of days, her cough was gone. And
yeah,
so
that is how it works. Mullein leaf is quite amazing, and the pleurisy root works on the lungs. So it is important. What it also does, and at first I didn't know that, but I heard Dr. Morse saying that it works slightly on getting the lymph moving, which is important too. And it's only three different herbs. And they are not really the same amount of each. There is one that is half the amount. And I do have the recipe. I got to think about it. I can post it in the show notes later on.
Okay.
So that, and I do have it on the website, freaksenseworld.com under health, and then Toni's blog. There is a lot of health information there.
I will definitely post that in the chat too right now.
Yeah. So and I think that I do have it there. And on that website, you can actually do a search, and you would just put in. I think if you only put in lung, then you already get the recipe. It is a video that I found, and I transcribed it.
Perfect. Okay, and I just posted it in the chat too on there. While we're talking about how you were detoxing and whatnot, only if we can move forward to the next topic, I did have a note here too about winter eczema. And I know that we spoke, I don't know what show it was, but where we talked about the cold weather is alkalizing and it starts your body to detox right away.
Yeah.
Is that also why people get like the winter eczema?
Yeah, that would only be logic. I mean, because it is your third kidney. Mm-hmm. So it would mean that your kidneys are not filtering adequately. Your lymph is not moving out. So, the waste is not moving out. So it has to come out one way or another. And that is usually why we have the most colds, usually around the winter time. So yeah, it's part of a detox.
And that's why people say don't go out in the cold with a wet head or anything like that either. It's not so much that you have a wet head, it's just the cold and you'll just detox. Is
I
that kind
don't
of what
know.
that too?
I never heard that. It was like there is a saying in the Netherlands, it's about keep your head cool and your feet warm or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Just to try to, I guess, keep they just don't they don't understand what it really is that's causing it. And Tiger Lily says the winter rosacea, which rosacea is like a part of, is that part of eczema also?
It's the same thing. It
Mm-hmm.
is all the same thing. Yeah. It does tell you that you need to work on getting your kidneys to filter. That's where the healing starts anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Get your kidneys to filter, and it's always easy to say, and people always wonder, well, how do I do that? How do I get the kidneys to filter? Well, change your diet. Get
Mm-hmm.
away from all the animal food, and that means yes, and not only the meat, but fish and poultry, the dairy, the eggs, the yogurts, anything related to whatever comes from an animal, get that out of your diet. And that is already a big step. And then your next step is, transition more to an all raw diet. Get the grains out of your diet. They're all cooked. Then get the beans out of your diet and replace it with more fruit, with more raw foods. And this is where that mucus-less food list comes in, because that shows you exactly, what do you eat while you are detoxing, what you should not eat because it stops the detoxing, what can you eat while you are transitioning. And that list actually shows you also how mucus forming and acidic, even, nuts and definitely all the animal products can be. And that is good to see. You don't have to wonder, well, maybe I can eat that. And it's like, well, yeah, you can eat it. That's always your choice. But when you eat it, this can happen, or this will happen actually. Because if it's mucus forming, you know it right away. Because how often didn't it happen that we've been on all raw and mostly fruit for a while, and then we eat something that we actually know we shouldn't eat, and it can be something simple as the guacamole or some bread in I don't know, just something that maybe a piece of pizza, and then we keep coughing, we have this mucus coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that is because it is mucus forming. So I have that when I eat something really, really spicy, like a spicy salsa or a spicy guacamole, I have it right away. I keep coughing and mucus keeps coming up. That is
Mm-hmm.
not the mucus that wants to get out of your body. That is your body saying, like, we don't want this stuff, get rid of it.
Mm-hmm.
That's a simple way of saying it, but that is really how it works.
Absolutely. And I noticed too that the more clean that I have been eating, if I eat something that even has any of that stuff in it, then the mucus comes almost immediately.
Yep.
Like if it's not within the hour, it is definitely that evening.
Yeah, well, I had it even worse. One time I was on a trip, and I just wanted to eat something, and I stopped at a health food store, and I got these bags of what is it? They are not made from corn or wheat or potatoes. They are, what is it, cassava? I think so, cassava nuts. They are from Sita.
Mm.
And you think if you want to have a chip, then that is actually the best to go for. Still not healthy, but this was a spicy one, and I mean spicy. Well, in the I think 2 or 3 chips in, I was already coughing the mucus out. It was horrible. So I was like,
Oh my God.
okay, not again. This is definitely not working. As much as I like spicy, that was like, no. And that
Mhm.
is, it is, I don't know if it's cayenne. I have used cayenne, and a tiny bit of cayenne is very good actually. But, when you have these spicy chips or spicy dishes in Indian restaurants, for instance, it's like,
Mhm.
yeah, it's more than your body likes, and it will tell you right away.
Yes, for sure. I mean, we've heard Dr. Morse talk about his Indian food.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And you hear him coughing and you know right away, okay, yesterday you were probably at your favorite Indian restaurant again.
Exactly. You know, the other thing that I noticed too was, I mean, but right now my voice still doesn't sound 100%, but I will notice before this, like my voice, it sounds better because it's like you get rid of that mucus, I guess, that has just built up through the years in your voice box.
It is. Yes,
And
it is.
so,
Yeah.
and I now, like when people talk to me, it's so weird. So if I'm in person, like I'm looking at their face, I'm looking at their skin, their hair, their eyes, their teeth, and listening to their voice. And it's like you're evaluating the person as they're having a conversation with you.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that is that one time Dr. Morse said, I only need to give somebody a hand and look them in the eyes, and I already know what's going on.
Mhm. I mean, for the most part, everybody kind of sort of has the same issues. You know,
They
your
do.
kidneys not filtering, and then it just moves up from there. But yeah, I mean, we're all along the same path, I feel. So we probably all pretty much had the same symptoms.
We do, and yeah, we've all been in the with the wrong foods and not even realizing it. And at times when I go back to my childhood, it was like, was food really that important then? Did we talk about it constantly? Nobody talked about it. Nobody talked about what was going, what's for dinner and what to cook or looking up recipes. It's just, well, you had to eat before you went to school, so there it was. And when we went home in around lunchtime, and yeah, we had our bread and cheese or bread and marmalade, and went back to school. And then we came home, and in the evening there was our veggies and potatoes and maybe a little piece of meat or fish, and that was it. Snacks, we had never heard of snacks. We didn't snack. That was maybe on a Sunday afternoon when there was tea with some other people and there was cookie. And that was it. But now you look on any news, it doesn't matter if it's, the mainstream media or any other news on the internet. It is all about food, and it's all about diets. I think for the last 30, 40 years, when you see a magazine and you see the cover of a magazine, it's all about diets
And
and
fitness.
all about the wrong diets. And then there is this diet. And then it's like, you only eat this and you only eat that. Well, I'm all for mono meals, but my gosh, make that mono meal a fruit, then you're good to go.
Exactly. And it's all about fitness too. Everything is about fitness. I mean, it's just a market to get you in to do something. Not to get too far off subject, but the whole thing with veganism, like you go to Burger King, you can get one of those Frankenstein burgers, or you can go to I don't know, a lot of the fast food restaurants have them now, but it's just another way for big corporations to still steer us in a way that they think we should be going so they can make the money, but also to still keep us sick and not giving us what we really need.
Absolutely. And it's a big industry, and they are in there to make money any which way, and people fall for it.
Mm-hmm.
They think it's vegan. I hear people say, oh, I've got such a healthy diet. I've been vegan for 20 years. Well, what are you eating? And there it comes, all the processed stuff, the cooked and the oils and the fats and the proteins and the addition of extra plant proteins. And when you think of it, how much sense does it really make?
None at all.
Does it make sense that and believe me, I bought that's called P, and that is not PEE, that is PEA protein in a big 1 gallon bucket, and to add to my smoothies, 2 big spoonfuls added to my smoothies.
Because you needed the
And
protein.
yeah, that was to
Yeah.
get the proteins.
Right.
And of course it's not helping. And how crazy is it? Do you know how, if you have 2 big spoonfuls, how many peas that is? Probably a pound of peas. My gosh.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and
It's
imagine what it's doing to your poor kidneys.
Yeah, it would be better to just eat the peas, because then you get the rest of the nutrition from it, instead of the isolated stuff. Although I think they dried them and just ground them up. and make a powder out of it. But even if you go to the health food stores and you order a smoothie, they always ask you, you want a vegan protein or regular protein? And it's like, my gosh, you still don't know. No, they don't know. They don't know how bad the proteins are for our health, and that they are the major cause of all the illnesses and all the kidney problems. And here we go back to our pets, even with our pets. It doesn't matter if it's the dogs or the cats. And we talked about it before. I have a cat rescue. Well, it's more of a sanctuary now, because I don't want to rescue more cats. I'm kind of done with it. But when you look on the commercial food that you buy and it says high protein, why the heck do they think that our cats need high protein foods? They don't. If they catch a rodent, they go for the stomach contents first. Yep. Well, the rodents don't eat meat. They eat, grains and greens, and it's half digested. So that is what they go first. And they don't need that much. And now we're feeding them all that meat, and our poor pets, they get the same diseases as we do. Yeah. And when I was a kid, cancer and ADHD and I have to say I didn't have an aunt with psoriasis, and so that was already known, but it was rare. It was very, very rare. And when I was in my 30s, you still didn't hear people talk about, having cancer at that age. That was for when you were, 70 and over. Yep. Now we have kids with it. And every generation is sicker than the one before. And that is sad. So then you come to the point is like, well, we should not really have kids with the bodies that we are in right now, as sad as it is. And to give them a good start, or at least, start them on the right foods from the beginning. So they have a chance on detoxing and healing, because my body wasn't healthy. So my daughter had issues, and she's doing good, at this point. So I'm really happy about that. But I didn't have a healthy body. I had issues from birth. And you live with it, and you think it is normal, and you don't go into it because, well, we all have our aches and pains. No, we shouldn't. Like Dr. Morse said, a healthy body, you don't feel. It's like you're floating. It's, and that, well, I don't think we ever experienced that. Yeah, in my dreams I did. and I was floating. That was a nice dream. I still remember that one.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Now, there was okay. Dave says, the last time you posted the link to the mucus list, it didn't work. Can you please post it again? I will check it out.
Yeah, I just tried it myself, and it did not work also, just so you know.
And, okay, well, you have to look at the link. I may have made a typo. That's pretty bad, though.
I tried to even go through your website to try to find the
No, updated. I don't have the website up. I just post the files there, but it should be toniweel.com/health/mucus-foods.pdf. And if I made a typo there, then I apologize, and I will fix it. So and updated it. Okay, someone got really angry with me about dog and cat and not giving them protein and feeding them raw veg and fruits. Cats do need meat, and that is a given. A cat cannot thrive on fruit and veggies alone, and they are carnivores. There is just no way around it. They won't live long. Their whole system is made for the meat. So I have somewhere, and I'm not sure if I posted it, a small section about, I think it is on my video channel, actually. There is a part about cats. Dogs can really thrive on their omnivores. They can live just as well on fruit and veggies as they can on fruit, veggies, and meat. If you don't want to give them any meat, understandable, and they can live on it. I've seen dogs who were 15 already, and large dogs, and they were always fed the fruit and veggies, and they were doing great. So that works. Cats, not so much.
Mhm.
And even if you only feed them the once in a while the meat, but they do need it. Now, I found online, I found several options for raw meat, but and it should come frozen, although half the time it wasn't frozen when it arrived here because it was sitting in a warehouse from what is it, UPS, I think, too long. And then you cannot feed it anymore. But it has all this, and it's still commercial pet food. Even if it's all raw, they add a lot of the vitamins and the supplements and the minerals to it, and that's again isolated chemistry, and it's not working. Not that doesn't work for people. It doesn't work for our pets. There is, and yeah, cats live in the wild. If you would have them in the wild, they would live on rodents. You can actually buy mice, and you can buy them frozen, and you can buy them grounded up. I don't know why I get a little, like weird feeling in my stomach when I even say that. It's
Yeah.
kind of weird because we have no problem with a ground up cow or pig or turkey or chicken, so what is the deal with the mice? We don't want really mice in our house, but we don't want them grounded up for our pets either, and it is their natural food. So it is something to consider, and it is actually they made it specifically for snakes because they need to be fed. Actually, well, I don't know. My gosh, they don't ship them live. I sure hope not. Well, it is not a pleasant topic to talk about, but we cannot go around it. We want cats, so we have to give them their specific foods. I mean, we owe that to them. And I know how handy it is, and I am doing it too. And I give them the absolutely best canned or dried food that I can find. They still don't get as old as they should. And in the Netherlands, I had cats that lived until 22 years old, and they could come inside, but they could go outside, and they prefer to be outside and catch their food.
Yep.
And they don't eat like two times a day. They may eat once a day or once every few days. So we overfeed them. So that is why most pets are overweight, and they don't get enough exercise. I had two in the Netherlands. I had two dogs, medium, large size, and we walked them like at least 3 miles a day, 3 to 5 miles, and it was rain or shine, always, always. So that was it about our pets, and you can probably add something to it.
Oh, 100%. I know that we originally wanted to schedule a show. I think it was like 2 weeks ago, but we were in the midst of all the issues that we were having. So definitely, I still want to schedule a show for us to do that on. As you know, that I have cats too, and I have a horse. But I just wanted to chime in too that I had a dog that she did live to be 17 years old, and she was a bigger dog. So a lot of people were very surprised at that. But toward the last 3 to 5 years of her life, I don't know if you've ever heard of Dr. Harvey's, and I'm not like promoting this in any way, but back then this would have been like close to 2010, 2007. So that was kind of like what I really had access to back then. But it's like his food provides all of the kind of fruits and vegetable, that kind of thing. It's like a dried thing. And then you add your protein. But I was adding like a bean protein and stuff like that. And so I made her, quote, vegan. And she started doing so much better. She had like hip dysplasia issues. She had other disc issues, kind of like in her neck and stuff like that, which my friend worked as a veterinary assistant for 18 years. And she said she would never vaccinate her animal for rabies. I cannot remember that exact like reasons why, but she did say, because when I told her about the disc thing in my dog's neck, she said there was something that was linking something to that. So I have no idea, but that could be a whole nother subject there too. But so, yeah, so when we did move her to the quote vegan diet, she did do much better. And, maybe she lived another 2, 3, 4 more years because of that. I'm not sure, but we definitely did stop taking her to the vet during that time too, because we didn't want them, doing any more prodding and stuff like that on her either.
Yeah, I mean, somebody is saying, Frank is saying here, what about those survival packages that are being advertised during this time? The announcement state that they provide 2,000 calories a day and can last 25 years. There are no nutrients. Well, there have to be some nutrients in it. You get, yeah.
I was going to say, so we have a military background in our family, not myself personally, but that just reminds me of the MREs. Yeah, they can last forever, but you may never use the restroom again. There's still some people that we maintain contact with that they still have bowel issues, just from eating those kinds of foods for as long as they
because
to.
it is often all dehydrated. Now, in a way, there's nothing really that much wrong with dehydrated food, even freeze-dried food, because we use it too, especially for fruits. But it has to be hydrated again. It needs extra water then, because all the water came out. So, and that is the same with the pet food. I have freeze-dried raw food for my cats. And they love it as it is, but they rarely get it like that because it goes in water first, so it can hydrate again. So rehydrate. I want to say something to somebody here, and that is Jacob van Tongeren in the Netherlands. And my question will be in Dutch. Is het erg koud op het moment in Nederland? So that was that. Nobody knew what I was saying other than Jacob.
Yeah, I was gonna see if you did catch that.
Yeah, I did. I talk daily with my hubby, both Dutch. So of course we speak Dutch together, and otherwise I would probably completely lose my own language.
That's really cool.
It's so easy done. It's the same with when I was a teenager. I was absolutely fluent in German. I lived near the German border, and they could not tell I was actually Dutch. I was that good in with the German language. If you would ask me now, I can still read it. I can still read everything. Speaking it would be a mix of Dutch, English, German, and all three together. So no, I'm not going to try that anymore.
That's wonderful. I just had a morning meeting today with the German group for my job. And so I always have a wonderful conversation with those 3 ladies. And thankfully they speak English because, I'm
There was a question that was actually sent to me as a YouTube comment, and it was about how do you safely detox? And over the last podcast videos that we did, it's something that often comes up because I get a little, no, I cannot say frustrated, but a little worried with all the detox programs. You cannot look into a magazine or a group on Telegram, on Facebook, and they have all these detox programs. Even if it's some hard detox for 2 or 3 days, or it is a water fast, or it's a 30-day juice fast or feast right out of the blue, they jump in and they go for that fast, and it's not working, and it's not good for your body. It's like, and you get detox symptoms, and they are no fun. And then you blame it on the fruit, and then it is like, well, no, I cannot do the fruit because I get this and this and this. Yes, of course you get that problem because you did not transition slowly into it. Now I can see when you get a test result back from the doctor and he tells you, well, the way things are looking, you only have 3 months to live. I'm like, yeah, go for it. Go into that hard detox right away because, if you don't have any choices anymore, that's the way to go. But first of all, it's a crazy thing for me to even say that, because doctors do say that you have so and so long to live, and there is no expiration date on you. Well, maybe God knows, but you won't know, and definitely not a doctor. It always means that yes, you can die if you don't take any action, and of course they want you to go their route, but you always have the choice of going into a good detox. One of my clients is doing, just did it together with her daughter, and I think they're both amazing, because her daughter did it together with mom, and 40 days of grapes only, as hard as it was, and that is not an easy task. But when cancer comes in play, and fear is instilled, and you already went through chemo, and then you're looking at another bout of chemo, it's a good route to go, but it's not an easy one. And I'm so proud of the both of them that they went through that, because if anything can make the big changes in your body, it's that. Do I recommend that for everybody? No, absolutely not. If you don't need to go that route, then please don't. Slowly go into it. Slowly go into replacing your animal products, your bacon and eggs and sausages in the morning, with a bowl of fruit. Preferably, it would be mono fruit, just one type of fruit. But if you want to start out and it's more fruits, you go with that. Or you go with a nice smoothie, or with what I do, a big glass of orange juice. It's amazing. And you don't feel hungry for hours. Now, a big glass, I mean about a quart, a liter, and I don't sip that in 15 minutes. It probably takes me an hour to 2 hours to sip it down, and then drink a cup of tea. And then the next thing would be when you transition slowly, you just remove one item every week. Say that you're a coffee drinker, and you stop drinking your coffee, and don't do that for just your 30 days or something. Do it forever. It's like, okay, you're over and done with your coffee. Don't go that route, like, okay, only 30 days I can do a fast, and then I go back to what I was doing before. Well, then you go back to how your health was before. And even when you do accomplish your 30 days fruit feast, I always hear people say, yeah, eventually I felt great. And then they go back to what they were eating before. That's not what we want to do. And the reason for doing a slow transition is that you do not fall back to your old habits, that it really is a lifestyle change. That okay, I'm never going to touch that. I'm not going to bite it. And even if I smell it, it doesn't even smell good, and it doesn't taste good. And, you don't do it anymore. And the next week you take something else out, and that is for the rest of your life. Now, am I saying that, with a lot of the things that we leave out of our diet when we are on all raw and mostly fruit, it's like, can you never, ever, ever eat anything else? You probably can, and you probably will, but it would not be, like coffee or a steak or fish or chicken or cheese, or eggs. Those are, forever gone. That's why I made that, or I made it, I didn't make it, I just modified it a little, that mucusless food list. And that gives you a good guideline on how to do it. But take your time. I probably, all in all, I did stop all the animal foods from one day to the other. That was over and done with. And was that hard? Yes, absolutely. Because and this was the funny part, in the grocery store where I go, you have to go through the produce section along the cheese aisle. Lots of cheeses. And me being Dutch, I was a cheese eater. That's yeah. So I took another aisle to get to the produce, so I wouldn't smell the cheeses, So after 2-3 years, that's over and done with. It's been probably 5 years ago that I stopped with all the animal stuff. But Yeah, and I did have a chips and queso not too long ago. Did my body like it? No. Did I get punished? Yes, very hard. I was in pain for days after that. So that is how your body responds to that. And you know what? That queso, it's not even real cheese. It's a lot of junk. So
Absolutely.
yeah, lesson learned. So that was the first in 5 years, and it happens.
Mhm.
But that is the slow part. So all the other things, can you have a hot soup once in a while? Yeah, sure, enjoy it as long as you don't do it while you're detoxing. It's not helping. Can you eat your steamed sweet potatoes? Of course, enjoy it. There's a lot of it, but it is mostly, your fruit and your what is it, your veggies. Although limit the veggies, they're very hard to digest. They're tough on your body, and
Mhm.
we don't realize that. It gets a little easier when you cook them, but then you get the problem that, and as weird as it sounds, you would think it's cooked, so it's done in water. I get so dehydrated, I get bloated, I get thirsty, and I get tired.
Mhm. It's
And
because it's harder for us to digest, right? So
I
it
think
takes more of
so.
our liquids.
Yeah, I don't know what the chemistry is behind it. I should actually dig into that because I talk often about it, about how I feel and how I heard other people feel with that. So it is definitely something to look at. And your body gets to a point, it just doesn't want that food anymore.
Mm-mm.
I did a podcast with Magdalena White. She is one of Dr. Morse's professors for his health, art, and science school. I think is was it called. What was it exactly called? It was it's the International School of Healing Arts and Sciences. She's a professor there with her arts, and we were talking about that also. So it's yeah.
Absolutely. There are a couple of questions that are popping up, but I also wanted to touch on the one up here too, where we were talking about the dehydrated foods. I know that last summer we had some of the best oranges that were making the greatest juice, but then those oranges went out of season, so we couldn't get them anymore. I did see a video on how to can orange juice, but unfortunately, you have to pasteurize it. To me, I was going to say, what's your opinion on canning our own orange juice, even if it is pasteurized, just so that we could still have it through the winter months?
Well, you don't only pasteurize it, you probably need to add sugar to it.
Okay. I don't remember in the video them adding sugar for that.
Okay, but my go-to would be freeze them.
Freeze them.
Put them in, and I'm doing that already. When I make juices, and I make more juices than I can handle that day or the next day, and put them in these little ice cubes. Once they froze them, put them in a bag or another bigger container, and it lasts for months.
Okay. We do that with our lemons for our warm lemon.
Well, you can do the same
I
for your
assume.
for your other citrus, and it doesn't matter what it is, whatever juice it is. And
Okay.
you can do that with all fruit. I mean, if it's mango season and you have good mangoes, oh my God, go for it. And we got an extra freezer for that.
I did try freezing oranges, and then like I would cut them up and freeze them properly, like they said to. But then when they thawed, they just were not, it was definitely not good to eat, I should say.
I have
So,
never done it that way. I have frozen the juice and it was just fine. And now I
okay.
do have to say, even if you let orange juice sit for a few hours, the taste already changes.
It does. Absolutely, it does.
So I would have to try it with the ice cubes again and see how it comes out. And I mean, with lemon, that's always good. I mean, we eat lemons throughout the whole year. They are always available. And yes, the last 3 months, oranges were almost not available at all.
Yes, and we
Not
called
even
and
yeah.
we called and they have them in our area now, so we're going to go and start picking them up. We get to buy them at bulk wholesale, so that's great in one of our areas.
Yeah.
What about like canning, like and when I'm saying canning, like in the ball canners and stuff like that? like pineapples and things like that?
Well, I think we should stay away from the pineapples completely.
The
Because
bromelain.
unless you can grow them, or unless you can pick them ripe.
Mm-hmm.
If they are not ripe, they are not good. I had them so bad that I one little bite of it and I had a burning mouth for 2 days. It is that bad. I had last summer on the farmers market here in Florida. There was it was actually some kind of a bus or stand, and they had fresh pineapples. They cut it in pieces and then they put it back in the outside, and it was delicious. And I ate the whole pineapple. I had not done that in my life, and they were growing them themselves. Yep. So they were picked ripe and used, the next day, and then they are amazing. Other than that, if you see them in the store and you think they are ripening, they do not ripen, they rot. So it's not really ripe. So you think that you can get a ripe pineapple, and I have done the sniffing test. If they sniff like a really sweet ripe pineapple, then it's good. And I found out when I got home, it was brown on the inside and it started to ferment. So that's not good either.
Yeah, and they always just burn my mouth anyway. So I do have a lot of trouble.
They are unripe. So don't forget about pineapples. I have to go back to something because I got a little off track, and that was what I said about a podcast I had with Magdalena White. And what I wanted to say about her is she mentioned that she had a health issue that turned her to all fruit and to Dr. Morse. And that is why she is also not only as a professor on his school now, she is an amazing detox specialist and iridologist. And but she is on mono fruit only. She does not combine any fruits. It's only mono fruits. And if you look at, she looks amazing. Well, I think she always looked amazing, but it is, and that would be my goal too, to be on only mono fruit. And I have been there. I have done that for months at a time, so I know it can be done.
We do that with oranges through the summer.
Yeah, it could be oranges, or your next meal would be just the apples, and your other meal is well, what else do we have? Banana. Sometimes 1 or 2 bananas is enough to fill you up. Not necessarily when you are in the process of transitioning, because you get hungry, and there is a difference in the hunger between when you are eating foods, cooked foods and other foods, fats and proteins. You get hungry, and that is a hunger that is rather difficult, and you really feel you have to eat something. But when you are on all fruit, it's just like, your stomach rumbles a little. That is what I had when I was really fasting. When I had that cold, I heard my stomach rumbling, but it was not like I have to eat. And that is how it is when you are on all fruit. It's it's really an amazing feeling.
It is. I think too, like, you get rid of that bloat feeling. And once you get past that feeling, then it's not as bad.
Yeah. And I see Frank here is, how many do muscle testing when in doubt about what to eat? It depends on what kind of muscle testing you do. I found out that the way where you kind of sway forward or backwards doesn't really work that easily for me. I do with interlocking my thumb and finger. And then, if it's strong, it means it's good for me. If it's weak, it's not good for me. And I have done that, but there's only so much that you eat. It's not that what we're used to, like 100 different items. It's what we put on our plate. Look at the salad bars and how much you can put on your plate, and we all find that normal. And I don't know if you are aware, but when we smell something, then you feel the saliva in your mouth already activating. So the enzymes are in your mouth, are already preparing to digest the food that you are going to put in. It's not even there, but it smelled it, so that you are going to put in. Now you put in, in 15 minutes or half an hour, you put in 10 different items. digestion is not that great then. That makes sense?
Mm-hmm. Well, it does. There was another question up a little bit further. I think it was from Chris about his eyes turning red and hurting occasionally while he's in the middle of detoxing. Has anyone else had those issues?
I don't know. I haven't heard that. But you can get the weirdest detox symptoms. They say, or Dr. Morse says, fruit brings out the weaknesses in your body. For me, it was my right knee. I had a really nasty fall 15 years ago on wet concrete. And I was in bed with problems for probably 2 months. I couldn't walk. So it was pretty bad. It healed after that, and I started on the all fruit. What comes out the first as a problem? That knee. So, it is when it goes away, when it stays, I would like, okay, we have an herbal eye formula. And you can use that internally and externally if it's, with a little boiled water, use it in your eye, and that helps heal it. So it depends on how much of a problem it is. I know my husband had that really bad, but that was when he was exposed to certain chemicals. So.
Yeah, and I think I've even heard people say, like, and this is crazy too, but like your hair hurts during
Oh yeah.
detox.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, what? But then they're like, but it's like my scalp is so sensitive that it hurts.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, it can just come out in any way. If it has to come out, it'll come out of any orifice it can find its way out.
But you get to a point when it is about knowing, about understanding that you are doing the right thing, that it is the right food that you are putting in. You will get to a point that you embrace all these symptoms because you know that you are doing the right thing. And it's, nobody died on eating fruit. I mean, it's not harmful. It is, it is all the other things that you've been adding. The people that say, yeah, well, fruit didn't work for me, and I did that, and I was all vegan. They didn't tell you about all the oils and the apple cider vinegar in the salad dressing that they were adding, because that is not helping. And you mentioned somebody promoting apple cider vinegar. And it's like, it's fermented. Why would you need something fermented in your body? Your body can do that on its own. It doesn't need more than that.
Exactly.
And it's rather nasty to your body. And I feel that everything in everything everywhere that has been promoted as the health thing in the world, it can be, then it is apple cider vinegar, and then it is fulvic acid, and then it is the probiotic. And it's something every time. Turn the other way, because why would you use that when all you need is just the simplicity of fruit and some veggies?
The more it's promoted, the more you should probably run the other way from it.
That is what I learned in the last few years. It becomes clearer and clearer. And the last thing that I was like amazed, I saw it popping up everywhere, is that fulvic acid. And it's like, it is plant food. Why do you think that a shortcut is good for you? The shortcut from, well, instead of giving it to the plants and getting it from the plants, we take it straight away. Seriously?
Absolutely. And the one they're promoting now too, which we saw the other day, was alkaline smart water. So it's that brand Smart Water. And now they've made it to where it has an alkaline pH. And I'm like, oh, geez, more garbage. And people are just going to run around and get it.
Well, there is something to say for slightly alkaline water, but it should not be more than max 8 to 8.5. And you can actually buy, and I did it because I thought that was what I needed.
I did too.
Talking about 5 years ago, that is what I thought I needed, including $500 a month on supplements. And even I even had alkaline drops, and it was a small bottom, and you can put like one drop in a glass, and then you have alkaline water. And I think I used it one or twice, and I was like, this doesn't make sense. And I was, at least some smart showed up at that time. But no, it is not helping you. You don't think that again, the shortcut. Keep eating what you're eating, keep eating all the acidic food, and then you drink alkaline water and you think it evens out. Think again, please.
No. Oh, yeah.
It doesn't.
The other thing about skin that I forgot to touch on before is there's a lot of information going around about people doing all these skincare routines and stuff like that, where in even the dermatologists that I see them talking about it, they're like, oh, we'll use this or use this topically. Why don't you get to the bottom of where it's really coming from? And it's literally at the bottom in your kidneys, and work from there on your way out. But everybody wants a quick fix for everything. They want a pill, they want a cream, they want whatever. They don't want to do the journey.
And you know what the weird thing is that you have to do it for life. And what we do, we change our diets for life, but are we detoxing for life? No, of course not. It's a temporary thing until you healed your symptoms and you're good to go. And then you introduce some other food and you go back to the all fruit, just do what you feel good on. Right. It is. I have an issue with the word detox because it's so misused, abused, and to me, the fruit, it's a healing diet. We can talk about it's like it's a detox diet. No, it's or a fruit diet. It's a healing diet. In a way, your body is always healing, that is what it does. It's always figuring things out. You need a little bit more dare to handle a problem. Your body will do that. You don't have to add anything. Your body will do that anyway. But it is the problem. It can't do it because of all the junk that is there, all the isolated chemistry, all the foreign, it's in here's the word, foreign substances we put in our body that the body doesn't know what to do with it until, unless, getting it out as soon as possible. Why do you think that if you eat something that is bad in the sense of, what is it? I had food poisoning, that you want to throw up and that you get diarrhea? It's because the body wants to get rid of it ASAP. Now, it is your body adjusts to all the junk that has been coming in to a point that it is like, enough is enough, no more adjustment. Here are your symptoms. You're not going to change now. Well, I'm going to add a few more. You can look at it that way because when it comes to it, that is actually how it is. You just get more problems. When do the most problems arise? From people my age, it usually started around 50. 50, 55 years old is when the most problems arise. Now you see people, the generation after that have it younger and will have it younger and younger.
Yep. Teenagers, 20-year-olds.
Yep.
We have we know of a 20-year-old that just passed away of a heart attack. And it's like, oh my goodness. It's a tragedy.
It is. I'm just reading about cancer by Chris. I was reading about the chlorine in our water combines with our food, whether vegan or acidic eating, in our bodies to make heinous chemical compounds that cause cancer. Cancer is, there's actually a chart. I do have it on a website, and it is the 8 stages of illness. And the cancer is the highest form of acidity. So when you talk about, the chlorine that you would drink and then with whatever food, and that it makes a chemical, I could see that, but it makes it more acidic. Any food, that should not be in your body and is mucus forming, just makes your body more acidic. And cancer is just acidosis, It is chronic acidosis, but it's acidosis. So all these diseases that are there, autoimmune stuff, it's acidosis. That's just one thing. It's what Dr. Morse always says. The medical industry or the allopathic industry, they come up with like, 7,000 diseases. I read that number somewhere, so don't pin me on that one. But in 7,000 diseases in that one little body, if you have a cut in your finger, they probably have a word for it. And we know that can heal. That cut can heal. Everything, your body can heal. It doesn't matter what stage you're in. If you're doing the right thing, your body can heal. But is it easy? It's easy to say, your body can heal. Go for, what is it, fruit, melons, and berries, or in a different order. How does Dr. Morse said? Fruit, berries, and melons. Fruit, berries, and melons. Yeah. And it's easy to say, it's hard to do. We understand that it is really hard to do. And that is usually where I come in as a coach and help you, get along and be available for when needed. I read a comment in one of the Facebook groups. Is like, yeah, there are a lot of counselors trained by Dr. Morse, but how are they with being available once you had your first session? I'm always available. I don't count the hours. I don't even charge. I work by donations. And but I'm always available for questions. So there's always backup. And I rather hear from my clients like every day, although that wouldn't be logic. That wouldn't work if I tell that to 100 people, but heck, they won't do that anyway. They're not hearing from people at all. So yeah, there is you could call that customer service, although I enjoy my time with people, helping them on their healing journey. And so, yeah, that is what I do. And it's like, we're all on that journey. It's helping me, it's helping you, we're helping everybody. Because what I teach you, so what you learn from me, you can teach others again. So the whole thing is about empowering people with knowledge, with how things are, how things work. And people can find me everywhere. Although I prefer just one email instead of two on Telegram and Facebook and maybe in WhatsApp and Messenger, because I start forgetting things. But oh my God, we are already at an hour. That went fast today.
We do have one more other little question from Mindy Mason. She does talk about a list of herbs out there. If you want to maybe touch on the herbs real quick, if you do have time, that I'm not really sure what list she's looking for, what ailments she wants to work on. So, I mean, I know she can definitely reach out to you through the health questionnaire, but also maybe touching on that herbs are just something that we do temporarily, not something we stay on. And then
it is like with what you see in the allopathic, mainstream medical industry, and I call it an industry because it is, and actually the supplements is pretty much for life. I was on supplements for life. There was the Bs and the multis and the vitamin Cs and the D3 and the K2s and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I was just, okay, this is for life. This is what I do. This is what I spend. And then you realize it's not logical at all. But what we try to do is we go to the source, because all these supplements and all the pharmaceuticals, they suppress the systems. That is why, in a way, it looks like they work. But if they really would work, why do people eventually come to me or Dr. Morse and wonder why they're not getting better and having to use more and more of the pharmaceuticals or the herbs because they don't really work? And that is because you didn't heal anything. The thing of the diet always comes first, not the herbs. So don't even think that you can stay on a standard diet and just take herbs and you will be good to go with your alkaline water. No, you're not. It's not working that way. So with herbs, you would take them for, say we do a protocol for 3 months. And work on the kidneys and on the adrenals and the endocrine system and get your kidneys filtering so you can start healing, and then assist with some tissue-specific herbal formulas. And I can recommend a few single herbs, but, do you want, like for sleep, do you want to take lemon balm for the rest of your life so you can sleep at night? No, you don't. You want to heal the cause of your insomnia. Or
Right.
that you wake up at night, and how you do it. Yeah, it can be the pituitary, it can be a weak pineal gland, and we have herbs for that. So you work on that together with the diet, and
And
it
don't
saves.
take melatonin though
Oh,
when you go to
absolutely not.
sleep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, because it is another thing I learned, from Dr. Morse. It's like he said, you keep taking it, and your body quits making it. And that is the case also with all your medication. You get to a point that nothing is really working. Your thyroid doesn't work, your parathyroid doesn't, and it's from one thing to the other. And don't use herbs as a treatment. I can see where you have a really bad headache, or you're nauseous. You want something that works right away. I mean, and we know, like, peppermint works and ginger works when you're nauseated. And but that is only a one time. That's not for the rest of your life.
Hmm.
Always have to go to the cause.
Absolutely. And also too, and please correct me if I'm wrong, our body is what heals us. The fruit can give our body the energy to do it. And then
Absolutely.
the herbs can help speed the process, but
Exactly.
it's totally your body that is what is doing it.
Yeah, you give it the right fuel, and then it can do its job. Look at your car. Put gasoline in a diesel. How long? You won't even get to the corner. It's that simple stuff. You don't put in water in your radiator. Well, that won't last long. I experienced that. So, and that's where you come from. Does your body need water? Because, oh, I have all this fruit, I don't need water. Well, as long as as you're detoxing, do drink some water. And it was what Magdalena even said in the podcast. It may be different for everyone. My goal is a liter a day, because I feel that is what I need. If I don't do that, then I get constipation and cramps in my legs at night,
Mhm.
or a headache. It's just the little things. Now, if you always need water, if you're really healthy, no, you can do it with only the fruit, but you feel when you cannot. But if you are on all fruit, and you have only one bowel movement once a day or once every 2 days, I would say drink a little water, please, get the stuff going. And yeah, it should be said always, you have to clean out your GI tract. And we have ways to do that, healthy, safe ways to do that. And
Mhm.
so there's a lot. So don't go into the coffee enemas and all that, because I do have a lot to say about that too. Next time.
Next time, take a note on that one. Yeah, and try to drink the most cleanest water that you can. I mean, if you can get filtered water or whatever, but again, you have to just do the best with what you have and just do it that way. The other part I wanted to say too is minimalism. I know that's been like very popular with getting rid of like your personal belongings and stuff like that, but you can also use minimalism in your food. And it is very liberating to know that in it, this is if you still shop in a grocery store, that I walk in and I just grab some grapes and bananas and walk out. I'm not spending hours doing that. I'm not spending hours cooking, cleaning, things like that. Like you're literally getting a big portion of your life back and you're getting healthy at the same time.
Yeah, absolutely. It's and don't start with, oh, it is so expensive and fruit is so expensive. Put them side to side with what you spend when you buy all your animal products and all the stuff that needs to be cooked, and then the fruit that you are eating. Yes, we do spend a lot of for two people. We do still spend a lot on fruit, but compared to what could be spent on all the other stuff, no, it's not that much at all. And the healthier you get, or the cleaner you get, the less fruit you actually need.
Mhm.
I can go a whole day without eating anything, and I wouldn't
Mhm.
even notice it.
Oh, yeah. I keep referring back to the summer because that's when we were doing all the oranges, which we're actually getting ready to start them now again. But again, we worked out in the field because we had to move our horse and everything. And we were cutting trees and doing stuff. And we were literally, my mom and I, doing it on orange juice. And then my husband was like, oh, I want some orange juice too. And so we started giving him the orange juice. And it was just amazing. I think during that time, he was actually doing a smoothie plus orange juice, and I think he was still doing oatmeal in the morning. But yeah, I mean, we were literally hard labor all day in the summer on fruit and slept well and felt good.
Yeah, and everything has been made so complicated, so
Oh,
complicated. Oh, Sarah, we can go on for hours like
I know we
this.
can't. We can stop. What a
So we gotta,
wonderful
yeah,
conversation, though, and I really miss this. And
yeah.
hopefully, the internet keeps working.
Yeah, we like this part of our digital life.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
We've had such
connecting.
wonderful people in the chat today too, very talkative, and we love that.
Yeah, thank you all for being here. I would love to see you next week. We try to always be here at I think it is Thursday today, at Thursday noon
Mhm.
Eastern time. And so count on that. Invite some more people. Send your questions to healthywithfruit@gmail.com. It comes straight to me. If it's necessary to answer you right away personally, then I will. If you want to have a chat with me, you can just fill out the health questionnaire and we go over that together and just book a call. It's easy. So I love being here. I love you all, and I enjoyed it tremendously. So I had fun.
Absolutely. I did too, and very good to do this again.
So thank you, Sarah.
Absolutely. Thank you, Toni, and thank you, everyone.
Bye bye until the next time.
Bye-bye.
Okay, stream ended.